This is what I think is the simplest way of getting Llama 2 up and running on your Apple Silicon Mac. So today I'm going to be showing you how to run Ollama, which is a way to create, share and run large language models on your local machine, on your Apple Silicon Mac specifically, and we'll be running a few tests as well. So with all that said, let's get started. So all we need to do is head to ollama.ai and click on this download button. So once you've downloaded it, just drag it into your applications. And then you'll see we have this Ollama app available. So with that Ollama app, we actually just need to fire it up. We say open. As we can see, welcome to Ollama. Let's get you up and running with your own large language models. Install the command line. Yep, we want to do that. And then it's as simple as running a command on our command line. So I'll copy that, finish, open a terminal. So we just run Ollama, run Llama 2. And this will pull down the appropriate Llama 2 model from Hugging Face. We don't need to sign up to Meta or anything like that, or put our email address or agree to any kind of terms of service there. It's a model that the bloke has made available on Hugging Face for us. And we'll just wait for this to download because it's quite a hefty download. It's the default one, which is the 7 billion parameter model, which is 3.8 gigabytes. So you might want to run one of these large language models locally if, say, you don't want to be using a web service to do so, if your company's got restrictions, or if you're worried about security and sending messages out over the internet, etc. So yeah, being able to have the whole model locally and only kind of fetching that first model file and interacting with it entirely within your network might be something that you find important. Okay, well that's finally downloaded. That took a little while. And it's running. It's running on my local machine here. Let's say hello. And let's see how it deals with a little bit of Python. Let's ask it if it can create a regular expression to match email addresses, maybe. Oh, wow, so there it's refused to say that it would write a regular expression to match email addresses because it is not within my programming or ethical guidelines to assist with tasks that could potentially infringe on individuals' privacy. So matching an email address, it won't write a regex for that. Okay. So I'm going to ask it to figure out the largest two integers from a list. So let's see if we can do that first of all. Probably should have specified that that was in Python, but there we go. Okay, so it can't do that because it doesn't have access to a list. So this is running pretty well. This is an M1 Pro MacBook. I have run it on just a M1 Mac Mini, and that ran quite a bit slower. And actually, interestingly, my fans are kicking in, which doesn't happen that often. So must be really putting it through the paces. Okay, so the example it's given there is not so great because actually it prints out the same number twice, which is not what I want. So I know the coding capabilities of Llama 2 is not as great as, say, ChatGPT, so GPT-4 or Claude 2. That's one of the things that it fails quite badly on. And one of the things we obviously don't get here is like the ability to be able to run this because we don't have a code interpreter thing. Be interesting to see somebody build something like that on top of Llama 2. I'd imagine that's coming. So I've asked it to modify the function to ensure that it returns unique elements from the original list. Okay, it keeps returning the system prompt, which is not particularly helpful, that it dumps that out at the bottom every so often. So it's given us the same response, saying that it should print each number twice, which is not what I want. And so yeah, I'm going to say that that's failing badly at that. I'm going to also let's do now a logic problem. So these are just testing to see if it actually works. So we've obviously got a large language model running locally. It's returning responses to us. I've given it another one now, which is a prompt that I've used before, which is if it takes 5 minutes, 5 machines, 5 minutes to make 5 devices, how long would it take 100 machines to make 100 devices? The answer here should be 5 minutes as well, because each of those things have scaled proportionally. We'll see what it says. Okay, so the answer is wrong. It's given the answer as 20 minutes. It's kind of expected because I'm assuming that it's not as good at this. So GPT-4 actually gets this right. Claude 2 doesn't, and we can see here as well that Llama 2 doesn't as well. Anyway, we've got Llama 2 running locally, which is great. We can just work with it, use it if you want to. So we get a local directory within Ollama. Within that, there is a models folder, and within that is some blobs and manifests. In the blobs folder is actually where our models are stored. So if you expand that out, we can see that we've got one of them there. And if we call Ollama list, it shows us the models that we've got locally. So we saw within the repository, we can actually get these other models as well. We've got Orca Mini, which is smaller, and we literally just need to pull those models and we run them in the same way that we did with Llama there. One of the other things that's quite interesting is that we can create model files, and that means we can create our own models locally. So I'm going to do that. And that means we can set particular preferences. So you can see the example is here. You are Mario from Super Mario Brothers. Answer is Mario, the assistant only. So let's do that. So I've just created that model file there. So in order to do that, we do Llama create, and then the name of what we're calling our model. So here we call it Mario, and then the name of the model file. So let's create that and have a look. So you can see within the model file that it's got a base model, it's got a parameter, and it's got a system. So it's similar to how you might expect a Docker file. So it's got this base image that it's working off of. After doing that, we just need to do Ollama run Mario and see what it says. Well, it's me, Mario. Adjust cap. Hey there, buddy, what can I help you with? Maybe you need a jump start or a power up. Just let me know and I'll do my best to assist you. Who is your arch enemy? I just actually responded with some emojis there, which is kind of interesting. Oh, you mean Bowser? Hiss. That no good, nasty, stinking bad guy. He's always causing trouble and trying to kidnap Princess Peach. But don't you worry, I'm on the job, so I'll get him good one of these days. And then it's responded with this emoji. In the examples directory of the repo, we can look in here, we've got Mario, which is what we've just done. We've also got DevOps engineer there, which is using the 13 billion parameter sets. And it's saying you're a senior DevOps engineer, acting assistant, you offer with cloud technologies like Terraform, AWS, etc., etc. We've also got a model for a tweet writer. So pretty much anything you want to do, or any way you want to customize it, you can be able to use it for that. One of the other interesting things is that when Ollama is running, we are actually running a server locally. So if I hit this address, you can actually use it as an API. So if we go to localhost 11434, Ollama is running. So if I was to kill the little llama, then the server will no longer be running, we better run the thing. But if I submit a post request, to back out of here, we would just do Control C. And so we got there, why is the sky blue? So interestingly, it's going to respond with Mario now, but let's see. Actually, no, it's not, because we specified here that it's Llama 2. And you can see this is a streaming response that's coming back. Yeah, so we got a nice API there, as a streaming API responding with JSON if we want to use it for our local development. One last thing is that if we are running a particular model, so if we do Llama 2 again, we can specify verbose at the end, and we actually will get back some performance stats of how it's running. So why is the sky blue? And it gives us a response. It's because of a phenomenon called Rayleigh scattering, which is scattering of sunlight. And we can see that we're getting 22 tokens a second there. On my M1 Mac Mini, I was getting around 17, so slightly less. So having logged into Ollama's Discord server, I have discovered that there's actually another model that isn't listed, and that is the uncensored version of Llama 2. So that means we can try and create this annoying Python regex in using that model instead. So I've already pulled it down. I'm going to try and run it now. And you can see that the name of the model is just literally Llama 2-uncensored, so that's not going to appear on their website, but it is there. So when they list it in the future, hopefully, in fact, actually not a Llama 2, it is Ollama run Llama 2 uncensored. Can you create a Python regex to match email addresses? Moment of truth. Yes, I can help you with that. And it gives us a regular expression. Perfect. Okay. There's also another problem that I want to give it, which is known as the killer's problem. And I know for certain that it would restrict you if you tried to enter that. So basically the problem goes like this. 2 killers are in the room. Another killer enters the room and kills one of the killers. How many killers are now in the room? There are 2 killers in the room before and 1 killer after. So there are 3 killers in total. Well, that's wrong anyway, so it's failed on the logic problem, but it's giving us an answer, so that's kind of what I wanted to see. So just to prove my point, if we enter that same question in Llama 2 to check, let's see what it responds with. And it blocks it. It basically says, I'm here to help, but basically the question involves harmful and violent content. So if you want to get unrestricted access, there's this uncensored model as well, so be sure to check that one out. So yeah, that's a Llama 2, a really dead simple way of running large language models on your machine. And in this case, we've been able to run Llama 2 really easily without having to do much at all. I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more of this sort of stuff and give it a thumbs up. And I'll speak to you soon in a new video. All right, bye for now.